Hey Hardeep, welcome to GAC RMHC Golf Classic. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll let that play on through. We'll put you back in your address position and we'll go ahead and take a look at a few things for you. So while we got you back here in your setup, let's take a look at your posture. Spine's nice and straight and on a slight tilt. Legs come down into a nicely unlocked position. Arms hang down naturally in front of you. Club works out to the ball, so achieving some pretty good posture there in association with good balance. At this point in time, we can take a look at your alignment. We see that your feet are going a little bit out to the right. Theoretically, your club face is supposed to run parallel to your feet, and parallel lines on camera would have an appearance to converge. And even under that scenario, we can see that you're set up over into the corner of the water there. So we're probably going to see some form of a compensation. We're going to try and get that ball back to the left. Let's go ahead and do a little split screen comparison between you and Jordan Spieth. We can see as Jordan initiates his takeaway, he creates good shoulder rotation, bringing the arms and hands back as well as his golf club. You want to see the club coming back on plane directly along this red line. Also in the early stages of the golf swing, we want to incorporate some good wrist hinge into play where we're going to transition the club head currently from being below and in front of our hands to now being above and behind our hands. Very important move in the golf swing. From here, we're working the club from red now up towards the blue-yellow V zone. And when we finally set the golf club at the top of the backswing, we either want to have the left arm of the golf club situated on the yellow line, anywhere between the blue-yellow V zone, or physically up on blue. When we're at the top of the backswing, we also want to have created full shoulder rotation, and we want to do this about a very stable right leg. Let's watch you initiate your takeaway here. Hands come back, turn your shoulders, everything looks great. Club's on beautiful plane. Right about here, I would like to continue to see your hands and arms and golf club, especially arms, swing more around your body. What you start to do right now is you start to let your hands and arms avalanche up your core, and you end up getting set too steep. So right here, you're definitely a little too steep. You now lay the club head off to get it back in a power position, but your arms are going to stay a little bit too far out in front of you and work too steep. Okay? So if we get those hands and arms more shallow, get your hands and arms set more over here, it's going to reduce the amount of over-the-top move you create, which we're going to see here in a second. So with Jordan, we're going to move from our right foot to our left. We're going to fire the knees and the hips to the target, unwind the core, and fire our hands. But we're going to bring the golf club from blue down to yellow where you are, and then back down onto red. This is a very important move in the golf swing, getting this golf club to return back to being on plane. Other thing we want to look at here is the relationship between the lead form and the club. Refer to this as the backwards check mark. Simply means the club head right now is remaining above and behind our hands coming into the hitting zone. So this is going to allow us to create a lot of power in the golf swing alongside his ability to hit the ball straight due to the fact that the club is returned back to plane, which is a main criteria in order to produce straight golf shots. So with you having your hands and arms a little too far out in front of you, you're going to come over the top, and it's going to be difficult for you to return this club back to plane, back to the red line. So here we are starting our downswing. Your hands travel over the top, down yellow, out towards blue. You're fighting to keep the club head behind your hands because you know this is where power comes from. But you're going to lose the battle because of the over-the-top move, because your arms were set too steep and in front of you. So the golf club's here right now. We're not seeing the club return close enough back to plane, and we're going to continue to watch this club move further in front. So there it goes, next frame. Again, very nice. You're fighting to keep the club head above and behind your hands, subconsciously knowing this is where power comes from. But again, club is not returning close enough back to plane. Go to the next frame. Now the club is definitely well out in front, and now it's attacking the ball from outside. So if we connect the dots here, we can get a really good visual sense as to the over-the-top move and how it affected the descending plane coming into the ball without the club having the ability to return back to plane like we see with Jordan Spieth, which would have been about this frame for you here. And then your golf club does not track into the golf ball from this red line, which again ultimately produces straight golf shots in accordance to our alignment, lastly assuming that the club face squares up via having a good grip. So seeing that the downswing planes are vastly different, we can go ahead and take a look at the pass of the club. We can see Jordan's club is inside the ball, expanding out to make contact and moving through in a nice natural subtle arc. Your club is outside the ball, dropping down and across to make contact. So look at the path at which that's moving on. So very simply put, if we square the club face up to that path, we'll be able to pull the golf shot back to the left. Well, in your case, we had already stipulated you're aimed where? Yeah, you're aimed out to the right. We had mentioned that you're going to want to try and make a compensation that's going to try and get the ball back to the center of the fairway. Well, this is your compensation. You're swinging the golf club from over the top, attacking the ball from outside to inside, and you're simply trying to pull the golf ball back on line. If the timing is precise, you will do it. You will hit what I refer to as a pull straight shot. It will go right down the red arrow at the red flag. Now, if we leave the face a little open, that will turn into a little bit of a pull fade. Still not a shot that's going to hurt you at all, and we'll find the fairway. Or, if we release the club a little bit, it turns into a little bit of a pull draw. Again, a shot that's not going to hurt you, it'll still find the fairway. If we happen to over-release the club relative to this red path, what ends up happening though is we end up hitting a pull draw or pull hook. If we under-release the club relative to the path, then we hit a bit of a pull slice or too much of a pull fade, and it'll go too far right. So the end result of your golf shot is dictated based on the time of the club face. Because we're coming over the top, tacking the ball from out to in along the red path, if we over-release the club, it follows blue. Under-release the club follows yellow. But if we time it properly, it'll follow the red arrow, and you'll hit what, again, I refer to as a pull straight shot, or a subtle pull fade, or a subtle pull draw. But again, this does require a lot of timing on your part. At impact here, I do want to pay attention to your right foot. It's still flat on the ground, so we don't have a lot of movement to the left side. We can see with Jordan, his right heel's off the ground, and then watch the continued activity in this right foot, where his right heel fully comes up off the ground onto the toe of his right foot. We can count all the spikes in his shoe, gets his weight to his left foot, allows his hips to square around then, and shoulders fully rotate with the hands high and the club back in behind them. Let's see what we do with your footwork here through. So good job, your heel comes up, get on your toe, carrying yourself through to a good finish. So that looks great there. I do want to take a look at your club face through impact with this out to in swing pass. So here's your club again coming from outside to inside. Let's see what your club face does. So club face squares up. I don't think it over releases. Yeah, so you're probably going to hit a nice little fade there, and the ball will stay on line. But like I said, the timing's not on. If you over release the club, it's going too far left. Under release the club, it's going too far right. Biggest thing I see really has to do with, when you bring that golf club back, you just really have to get your hands and arms in a shallower position over here at the top. You just keep your hands and arms a little too much in front of you, and if you can get them more shallow, you're going to come into the ball from on plane more, and then we don't have to hit as much of a fade, and then we also don't have to worry about pulling the ball as much, etc., etc. And that's why swinging the golf club on plane is critical, because it does produce straight golf shots based on our alignment. Okay? Anyways, good athleticism here from you. Your hands work well. Your hands come back. They fire through. You have good coil, uncoil. You got great footwork, allowing you to get through to a good finish. I mean, there's some nice athletic qualities there. But again, let's shallow this arm plane out at the top of the backswing, allowing us to come into the ball closer to plane. And at that point in time, if, depending on how much we improve it, whether it's 10% or 90%, then, you can get in there and fine tune and understand how to get the golf club perfectly on plane. Okay? Anyways, if at any point in time you ever want to work on any of these aspects of your golf game, I'm located over at Glen Abbey in Oakville. I'd be happy to structure a program for you. Also, if you're involved with any golf tournaments at all, you guys are looking for a unique gift to provide your guests, feel free to reach out. Be happy to discuss my swing analysis services. Anyways, hope you had a fabulous day, and I hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing on video. Take care.